Ja minns hur den tid du gav mig life billar yo. Nu vill jag kunna ge tillbaka allt jag inte kunna ge förut.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back to another episode of It's a Tragedy, It's Not Tragic. I'm your host, Gerald Kimbi Chiabi. This will be episode 2, and first of all, I'd like to thank all of you. The overwhelming response from the first episode. I've had a lot of positive comments. I've had a lot of comments. I've had a lot of interactions with people who have watched the episode and are really, really engaged in what's going on and helping me go through this type of grief, and in some form or sense, I hope I'm also helping you. So if you haven't checked it out, or if this is your first time, go back and check the first episode and continue to follow, like, and share, so as we continue in this journey together. So in this episode, we'll be talking about my feelings, my thoughts at this time, my grief. I will be talking about my emotions, where they stand, where they may be going, and hopefully get some input from you and tell me, where you stand. This is something that's new to me, and new in the sense of this kind of the grief, this close, this harsh, this hard. And if you've been through it before, help me. If you haven't been through it before, go through the journey with me. So I'll start off by reading an extract from a family friend who wrote something, and he's the one who started me on this idea of reading a few things from a few different people. So I apologize if you're not the first one read, or you're not read at all, for those of you who did publish anything. I will either get to it at some point, or if I don't get to it, trust me, it's not that it's not well taken. There's a lot of things to discuss, and I will make best efforts to be able to get to it and share with everybody. So I'll start off with the reading, and I'll try to hold it together, keep my emotions as the best I can, so that at least the words come through and you can understand with me. So, written, A Promise Keeper, by Charles Yong To and Irene Young W. It is really heartbreaking to learn the most unwanted news. It came like a thunderbolt. The news that my teacher, supervisor, mentor, host, dad, and other reserved appellations is gone into eternity. Heartbroken because of the way he was caused to validate the course of existence. Basically, in our own minds now, in the voices cried out by the mourners, and undoubtedly by the victim, Dr. E.M. Chiabi, is the unanswered question of why and why. Plausible attempt answers that can be given by the mourners are for the questions of when, which, where, how, and maybe who did it. Dad, it is true that we know not of the first, life before birth, and the last, life after death, chapters of existence. At least we all know of the middle, life as we live, chapter. In the middle chapter, we can make and we can mar. In the middle chapter, we leave our footprints for prosperity. Dad, you left large footprints in our minds. In 1987, you promised to supervise my dissertation if I made it to master's level in academics, And 10 years later, you fulfilled the promise and supervised my thesis in 1997. As a follow up, you postponed your flight to attend and preside over my defense as my supervisor. On the 26th of November, 2022, you rescheduled your flight with Mama Emma Chiabi to personally witness and celebrate our daughter's wedding. You and Mama did a special celebration of same a week later at your home and enlarged the pictures before anyone else. What a sacrifice. From a very humble background, you upheld truth, honesty, service, and humanity, and an unflinching love for the land of your birth as basic life principles. You were a national and international patriot, academic professor, emeritus, USA CMA based scholar, icon and confundum, founder and pioneer, president of the AFOACOM USA, national and international builder, friends of all walks of life, irreproachable scholar, gentleman par excellence, humble, friendly, one who incarnates the teaching and learning of history, sociology, anthropology made simple and easy for all your students as an exemplary university don. As source of hope, you inspired everyone to achieve meaningful goals. Memories of you will never leave us as long as we live, notwithstanding the barbaric exit by which the sons of darkness had managed to condemn themselves to eternal damnation. We remember your jokes, even about death. Dad will say, I am not afraid of death. Rather, I am worried about protracted illness and unbearable pains, wherein people will be caring for me instead of going about their daily chores. Quote, in the jokes, you used to say that the son of Taku, my grandfather, his dad, shall never go through any pains before he dies. Indeed, yours was not protracted. It was brief, yet it was better that these sons of hell were never born than impose their misery upon you on the 15th, breaking Thursday, the 16th of March, 2023. May your tombstone read, here lies a man whose intellectual capability and exceptional humility won the admiration of all his African, American, European, and Japanese students. And here lies a man whose last earthly intentions were to be remembered as a peace crusader, preacher of peaceful coexistence, upholder of cultural heritage of his land of birth, and complete to the ongoing Bello Integrated Library project as the initiator and CEO, but did not live to realize the lofty dreams. Adieu, Mentor Dad. Written, Charles Yong To and Irene Yong W., son/daughter in family extended. So looking at these words, reading these words about my father draws tons of emotions. This is just one extract of what's written about him that you can find online in so many places. But it speaks volumes as to what and how and who thought of him and in what context. So we go to my feelings now. So thinking of my feelings reading things like this, growing up with a man like this, and having him taken away the way he was taken, having his earthly breath taken away, because he's not taken away from me. He will always be there with me, always be with my mind. He will always be in your minds. But having his earthly breath taken away, what are my feelings? It's really hard to express. For those of you who have been through this before, I implore you to share with me what you went through. How did you deal with this? I know we're all different and everybody has different ways of dealing with it, but we are told that there are 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I think some of them are pretty easy. And when I mean easy, it means that it's just automatic and natural. Denial. Can I say that that goes without saying? Is this true? Could this be happening? Did this happen to me? Did this happen to you? Denial. I've been through that. That was a pretty quick one. Happened almost immediately. So I believe that phase has come. Anger. Wow, okay. In the way that he perished. Remember, he didn't want to suffer. He didn't want a prolonged death. He didn't want pain. He didn't want people to have to disrupt their daily lives because of him. The death of him was not prolonged. The death of him is prolonging. Shall it end? I would guess to say at some point it has to. Or does it? I think back to a lot of my cousins at this time who lost their loved ones years ago, lost their fathers, their mothers, brothers, sisters years ago, and have been living constantly. And at this point, I would really like to acknowledge you and acknowledge your strength to be able to continue for all these years with those kind of thoughts through your minds, having to deal with these at a very early age for so many years. So, anger. Would you believe that you can experience this kind of loss in this kind of way and anger not be there? Anger is probably there in a normal sense. Now, this is a violent sense. So, anger is almost unspoken. It says bargaining also. Bargaining, and I had to kind of look at this one, and then I understood. Bargaining, the process sometimes happens before your loss has fully occurred. Like when you think, if I recover from cancer, I promise I'll start going to church every week. In this sense, I didn't have time to bargain, but maybe I did. Please don't let this be true. That's a bargain. I'm bargaining. Don't let this be happening. let the news somehow that has passed through the phone to me have been disrupted in some kind of way that, when transmitted through my earpiece, did not come out correctly. What can I say? I guess I did bargain. Depression. There are many types of depression that people experience. You've heard a little bit about my father, first episode. You've heard what Mr. Charles has written about him. So you can imagine who I am, what he instilled in me. And when we talk about depression, it has to take a certain form. It has to manifest itself in a certain form. Everybody's manifest different. So have I been depressed? I've laid in my bed. I've sat in my chair. I've gone to the airport, and I'll tell you the story about that in one of the episodes, and just sat at the airport where I remember sitting with my dad and my mom. I sit at work sometimes, just quiet. I believe that's a form of depression. Don't have to do anything drastic, don't have to act drastically. So, yes, depression. Here's one that I need complete help with. Here's one you have to really help me with to understand. Does this really exist? Can it exist, period? And can it exist for this kind of tragedy? Acceptance. I have to accept that he's not here. I have to accept that I won't see him physically again. It kind of goes without saying, I don't have a choice, do I? I wasn't given a choice in this matter. Whether I accept it or not, it's a truth of the reality. I won't see him again. Do I have to accept that? Am I going to accept it? Something I'll think hard on. Something I wonder, for those of you who have experienced it, have you accepted it? Should I accept it? Should I put the thought and the energy into accepting this kind of tragedy? Why? But then why not? I function every day. So accepting it, what is that going to do for me? I function every day. So not accepting it, what is that going to do for me? It's going to be an interesting journey on that one. Now let me do something and put it all together. So at what point does this circle stop? Because I believe there are days I experience this denial, anger. I'll even throw in bargaining, depression, and acceptance, or the thought of acceptance, within a day, within the week, within the hour, within the minute. I run through it and rerun through it. Looking at him brings back every single one. Watching a movie brings back every single one. Talking about him brings back every single one. Trying to shut my brain down to everything brings back every single one. When will this round robin stop? Is the round robin going to stop? How do I feel? I feel all these things. I feel them constantly, nonstop. When I don't feel it, then I feel guilt. Why are you not feeling these things? Why have you not broken down and cried and been depressed? Why have you not lost every single ounce of your weight? Why have you not done these things? Well, I kind of smile sometimes because you heard the extract of what my dad said. He didn't want anybody to suffer over him. So I guess I'm living his words. Thank you for listening for today. And please, if you have anything to say, any comments, positive, negative, continue to share with me as you've done. Continue to help me heal. Continue to heal yourselves. We're doing this together. Thank you so much for the positivity that you have given from the first episode. I hope that we continue this journey together. Continue to stress to others that they are not alone. Continue to stress to yourself, you are not alone. Continue to let me know I am not alone. My family is not alone. Your family is not alone. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing for me. And I hope that I'm helping somebody out there because you are helping me. Continue to like all social media platforms, Kimby_Mucho. Continue to follow, continue to share. Let's get a lot of people talking about this. Let's figure out about this together. Let's figure out about the grief. Let's figure out about the actions. Let's figure out why this is happening. Just today, August the 28th, there was a mass shooting that happened down in Florida. It's a tragedy. It's not tragic. Thank you. I'm your host, Gerald Kimby Chiabi, and until next time, please, let's move forward together. Stay strong.
Nu vill jag kunna ge tillbaka allt jag inte kunna ge förut. Det finns ingen annan där som kan stå här by my side, oh why. Sättet du rör på det får mig att dö för det, baby. För de här yardis, de vill ju bara dra ner oss. Men du är fett och vanlig. Och det jag lägger all min tid och jag vill ha dig. Du får mig känna safety. Jag kan nog leda, baby. Och jag kommer aldrig ändra mig. Aldrig kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än det. Aldrig kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än det. Varje gång jag bak på det, jag tänker vilket kap jag har gjort. Jag skulle gå tillbaks i tid, göra om allt igen och förstå. Ser det som ett allt, det är dig jag vill wifa. De här yardis, de vill ju bara dra ner oss. Men du är fett och vanlig. På det jag lägger all min tid och jag vill ha dig. Du får mig känna safety. Jag kan nog leda, baby. Och jag kommer aldrig ändra mig. Aldrig kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än det. känna så här för någon annan än dig. Jag vet det bara life om igen och jag vet det bara ta sin tid. Jag vet det bara life om igen och stay with me please. Jag vet det bara life om igen och jag vet det bara ta sin tid. Jag vet det bara life om igen och stay with me please. Du lägger till, du är där för mig. Jag svär mitt liv kretsar runt dig baby. Du bär på mina bebek så att när jag visionerar vår framtid. Låt mig hålla dig baby, hey, yeah, yeah. Kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än dig. Aldrig, aldrig, aldrig. Kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än dig. Jag vet det bara life om mig aldrig. Jag vet det bara ta din tid. Jag vet det bara life om igen och stay aldrig. Jag vet det bara life om mig aldrig. Jag vet det bara ta din tid.